Okay. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to start on the floor today, on our backs, and I'm going to face this way so you can see my legs. All right. So first of all, just lengthening our bodies so that we can have our little check-in, and I'm in a very confined space. So, and just drop your hands by your sides. Take a breath. Another breath. And just a quick scan of the body, just feeling the body parts and their contact with the ground. So let's start with the head today. Just feel the head, feel the weight of the head on the ground. And feel the neck, feel the throat, feel the neck. And then feel the shoulders for a moment and feel how the shoulders relate to the head. And just notice, does the head feel central over the shoulders, or does it feel a little bit off to one side? Does it feel like it's rotated in one direction? Just noticing what you notice, nothing right or wrong. And then moving from the shoulders into the center of the chest and the center of the rib cage. And then feeling the arms and their contact with the ground, the upper arms and the elbows, forearms, wrists, elbows and wrists, palms of the hands, backs of the hands, thumbs, index, middle, ring, and little fingers. Down into the ribs, the side ribs, the back ribs, the scapula. Just noticing whether one side of the rib cage is more pressing into the ground than the other. And again, checking in with that relationship with the head. And just noticing and noting what you see, what you feel. Moving into the solar plexus. And then the belly button, the lower abs, the lower back, the sides of the waist. And then into the hips, the buttocks, the groin, the upper part of the legs, the knees, the calves, the shins, heels, sole of the feet, top of the feet, big toes, second toes, third, fourth, fifth. And just checking in with the whole body. Feel the whole body and feel the hips, pelvis, how that is related to the rib cage. These three body weight centers, it pays to put attention on them and their relationship with one another. The pelvis with the rib cage and the head. It pays to understand the planes of movement that they can move in and how those planes of movement relate to the planes of movement of the other two bodyweight centers. I would also include the knees and the feet as body weight centers, but secondary to the other three. I could also include the shoulders and elbows and hands as body weight centers. Again, secondarily, but still important. That's why I focus a lot on them and a lot on moving them and bringing your attention to them. So, bending the knees. I'm going to come and scoot down a little bit. Bending the knees, bringing the feet close to the bum. We're going to put our focus on the pelvis body weight center. And just checking in with that, putting attention in the center. So let's find our pelvis. So tilt the pelvis so that the lower back comes off the floor, and then roll it down, release that, and then roll it back the other way so that the back flattens. And then do that again, lifting the lower back off the floor by rotating the pelvis, headlights up, and then slowly rotating it the other way so that it flattens. And just do a few of those in your own time, in your own speed. And just notice what you notice. Does it want to like, can you keep it in a straight line, that movement? If you put your attention on the pubic bone, can you move that between the legs smoothly? Or does it want to jerk and judder and like move in a roundabout way? And it's okay. It's okay. Whatever it does is what it does. We just want to see what it does, because we don't normally pay attention to these things. And you can include the breath. You can include the breath whatever way feels correct for you. I'm going to inhale as the back comes off the floor. And I'm going to exhale as the back lowers down and flattens. And just notice how the head responds to this movement. Put your attention on your nose. Keep breathing. What does your nose do? Does your nose follow your pubic bone? And whether it does or it doesn't, let's let it do that. Let's almost exaggerate that just a tiny bit so that we get the message. Let's let the chin or the nose, wherever you want to put your focus, let's let it follow the pubic bone, and let's let the rib cage go the other way. Like it cogs. Imagine the pelvis is a cog, and then the rib cage is a cog, and the head is a cog. So the middle one goes the opposite way of the two on the outside. Nice. Okay, drop that for a moment. Just let the lower back come back to neutral. Let everything just relax. Now we're going to drop the knees to the right. Just as far as feels like you're not pushing anything, you're just letting gravity do its job. And then we're going to pick those back up. And we're going to drop them to the left. Just allowing the feet to roll, the heels to roll. Keeping the shoulder blades on the floor. Inhale to come up to the middle. And then exhale to drop back down. This is a gentle movement. We're not like trying to stretch anything, although stretching will happen a little bit. Inhale to come up and exhale to go down. Let it feel nourishing. Don't go so far that you're feeling any kind of like stress or strain. Nice twist in the torso, in the lower back. Okay, just do 2 more on each side. Inhaling as you come up, exhaling as you go down. And when you reach the top, music's quite dramatic, isn't it? When you reach the top, just take a moment, check in, feel what you feel. I'm going to have a sip of my tea. Okie dokes, right. Now we're going to bring those 2 movements together. All right, so let's tilt the pelvis so that the lower back comes off the floor. And let's drop the knees to the right. And when you've reached that comfortable end range, maintaining that pelvic tilt so the back's off the floor, we're going to now flatten the back and allow the knees to come back to center. Okay, now we reach the top and the back should be flat on the floor. And now we're going to drop them to the left. And we're going to arch the spine at the bottom of the movement to bring the knees back up to center. Keeping the arch, we're going to drop them to the right. And then we're going to flatten the back to bring it back up. Keeping it flat, we're going to drop it to the left. And then we're going to arch the spine to bring the knees back up. And you'll notice, so just keep doing that pattern while I speak a little bit. You'll notice that the arching and flattening of the lower back by rocking the pelvis almost creates an elastic force that pulls the knees back up. We can kind of, if we can try and find that elastic, so it's almost like they come up by virtue of the tilting of the pelvis and the raising and lowering of the back, the lower back. And you'll notice that we're almost sort of doing a circle. If you put your attention on the part of the pelvis that's touching the floor, you'll notice that we're doing a circle around, almost around the coccyx, around the sacroiliac joint. So we're rotating that sacroiliac joint in all of its planes of motion. Okay, so let's just drop down to one last side for this direction, and then coming back up to center. Okay. And just have a little shake out of that. Shake your hips a little bit. So, this time, we're going to flatten the back. So, rotate the pelvis so the back flattens on the floor. Now drop to the right. Now arch the spine to come back up. And then flatten the back on the other side to come back up to center. Keeping the back flat, dropping to the right, arching the spine to come back up to center. And then keeping the arch, drop to the left, flatten the arch, coming back up. So flattening the back, coming back up. And we're going to start to introduce the pelvic floor a little bit on this one. So we're reversing the circle that we're traveling. So just keep going at your own speed, using the breath to inhale to the top. And then on this round, we're going to just bring in the pelvic floor. So let's say like flatten the back, drop to the right. And when you get to the right, pull up the pelvic floor and then tilt the pelvis to bring you back up to the center. Drop to the left, release the pelvic floor, flatten the back, coming back up. Dropping to the right, pull up the pelvic floor, arch the back, coming up on an inhale, and then on an exhale, dropping to the left. Release the pelvic floor, flatten the back, coming up, dropping to the right, and just keep going. Do 2 more rounds of that. And let the pelvic floor be intuitive. If you need to pull it up to, but I just want to bring your attention to the pelvic floor. Pull it up when it feels correct to, but allow the pelvic floor to help the movement become effortless in the hips. So I'm not like pulling my knees up. They're coming along for the ride because of what the pelvis is doing and what the pelvic floor is doing. Nice. All right. So now let's have just a check in. So straightening the legs and just feeling what you feel. Can you feel your pelvis a bit more now? And how's that relating to the rib cage? And how's that relating to the head? Do you notice any differences? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. My pelvis feels a little bit more aligned with my rib cage now. And if you don't notice anything, that's okay. We're going to roll onto our sides. So just rolling onto your side and then coming up. Oh, I tell you what, we'll do some unsitting. So onto our fronts, bringing the elbows down just comfortably like this onto the floor, just to kind of prop ourselves up. I'm not sure if I can really show you any better. I'll show you a couple from here, from this way. And you can see. All right, so my feet are off the floor, so my knees are bent. And I'm just going to pull my knees towards my elbows to come into like that sitting pattern that our bodies know so well. And when you reach the top, we're going to start slowly coming back down again. And we're going to allow the pockets to touch the ground first. That's the only rule, is the pockets go touch first. And then we can come back down again. And we can even scoot the elbows a little lower if that's available to us. And then we're going to come back up. And then we're going to sink back down again. Pockets first. And just attention in the groin and the lower back. So like this whole, we're tackling the psoas now. The psoas attaches to the lower back, but it weaves through the pelvis and into the front of the groin and onto the femur. So we want to have our attention right down in the groin, really, because we're releasing that. So coming back up, I'm going to change position now so that I can do some wider ones. So coming up, we're going to slowly lower down. If there's any jerky movements, that's good. We're looking for those. That's called motor sensory amnesia. And those jerky bits is basically the subconscious coming to the surface and a subconscious movement pattern. So just keep, the subconscious movement pattern is coming to the surface to be reprogrammed. So keep it up, keep your torso up, let your pockets go down, smooth out any jerky bits, any clunky bits. This is one of the best psoas releases. So coming back up, now on this one, we're going to really accentuate it. We're going to headlights up so that we can, like, our bellies drop down between our thighs. We're going to really accentuate that kind of like curve in the lower back, that lordotic curve. All right, and we're going to try to maintain that. So we maybe want to keep the chest up a little bit to maintain that and allow the pockets to come down first. Nice. And again, we're going to come up. We're going to do that curve. We're going to widen the knees this time a little bit to try and get in a slightly different angle in the psoas. Right, and maintaining that curve in the spine and the belly poking between the legs. Pockets down first. Nice. You don't even have to do the torso down necessarily. All right, one more of those. Nice. Take a breather at the bottom. Let all that melt away. Nice. All right. Coming up into cat-cow. Most people know this movement. So on all fours. And just arching the spine, lifting the chin, lifting the tailbone. Imagine the back of the head and the tailbone moving towards one another. And then coming forward, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone, pushing the hands away from the knees, like pushing into the ground, pushing the hands and knees away from one another. And then inhale, open up, pulling the palms, the backs of the palms, the heels of the hands towards the knees, and the head towards the tailbone. And then exhale, tailbone comes towards the nose. And actively pushing the hands and knees away and towards one another. actively spreading the scapula. Inhale, open. Pulling those palms towards the knees. And then exhale, pushing the knees and hands away from one another, tucking the chin, squeezing, pulling up the pelvic floor. And exhale. Nice. Let's just do something on the floor before we get up. If you need a cushion, grab yourself a cushion to sit on. I'm going to just sit on the floor. We're just going to just sit in like a nice easy pose, whatever's comfortable. Attention into the pelvis and the pelvic floor. And we're just going to begin to rock that. Actually, no, first we're just going to, no, let's tune into, let's rock the pelvis slightly back. So like neutral is there, we're just going to rock it slightly back. And let's now pull up the pelvic, pull up the anus, and then let it go. And then pull it up, and then let it go. Pull it up and into the body, and then let it go. Up and in. And just find your own rhythm with that. You might need to squeeze, if you find it hard to isolate the pelvic floor, you can squeeze the glutes a little bit to find it. And it helps to have a slightly posteriorly rotated pelvis, so slightly headlights down. And now bring the breath in. So on an inhale, pull everything up. And then on an exhale, let everything go slowly. Inhale. Start to bring that breath up the spine. As you pull the pelvic floor up, start to feel like you're pulling energy up the spine. And by energy, I mean feeling awareness. So feel the sensation of pumping the spine. Breathe in through the nose and then out through the nose or the mouth. Always breathe in through the nose on these. Okay. Now let's rock the pelvis forward a little bit. So neutral, find neutral, and then forward a little bit. Keeping the ribcage stacked. And the chin just relaxed, slightly tucked, but not like with any pressure. And let's find the urethral muscles or the muscles that stop the flow of urine for men. Let's locate those and start pulling those up. So just find your own rhythm, like pulling up, letting go, pulling up, and then bring in the lower abs. So pulling up the lower abs, and then letting go. Pulling up the lower abs and the pelvic floor, the front of the pelvic floor. Start bringing in the breath. So on an inhale, pull everything up. Now start bringing that into the spine. Maybe bring it up into the heart, into the center of the rib cage. Up into the head. All right, let that go. Now we're going to bring in the pelvis. We're gonna rock the pelvis back, opening the lower back, and then pulling the pelvis forward, closing the lower back and opening the front, and just rocking that pelvis. And then on a inhale, we're going to come forward, rock the pelvis so the tailbone opens up, and then exhale and the tailbone tucks under. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you can sort of help with your hands, or you can allow your hands to slide. And then we're going to pull up the pelvic floor as we come forward. No, sorry, as we go back. Let's pull up the pelvic floor as we go back. Inhale, pull up the pelvic floor, and then exhale. Just go at your own breathing pace. Okay, let that go. Jiggle the pelvis. La, 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 la. Right, now this next movement, you have a choice. You can stay seated on the floor. You can sit on a chair. You can, if you're really adventurous, you can try it in the figure 4. It's going to offset the spine slightly. So depending how good your hip mobility is and how good your spinal mobility is, will depend which of these. This is probably the most progressed. And sitting on the chair is the sort of more entry-level progression. I'm going to sit on a chair to show you how that works, but feel free to take your pick of any of those 3 movements. You could even be in kneeling. So whatever feels correct for you. I'm going to be here, and my feet are just planted on the floor. We're going to do some spinal waves. We're going to do 3 transitions, or 3 transitions. And the first one is going to be mobilizing the pelvis and the lower back. And that is going to be, the cue is going to be moving the head forward as much as possible, maintaining connection with the pelvis. So it's going to look like this, and we're going to bring the arms in. And we're going to close the arms, so almost like the backs of the hands touch each other or face each other. And then we open that up so that the palms, when we're back here, the palms are facing the ceiling or the sky. So let's do a few of those. And just gently inviting the shoulders and the chest to open. allowing the head to travel forward, breathing as you open and exhaling as you close. Okay, and the second transition will be the torso. We're going to move we're going to concentrate our attention in the rib cage. So it's the same movement, but the head doesn't travel so much. We're almost trying to keep the head over the pelvis, so it looks like a smaller movement. We're going to keep our attention in this area, this thoracic and sternum area. Let's just do a few of those. Keeping a little tone in the abs. All right, warming up. Now let's take that into the third transition, which is this area here, the neck and the shoulders. And for this movement, we're going to keep the torso nice and strong in the core, in the center. We're not going to collapse the torso. We're going to keep everything upright, but we're going to start to move the head, moving the head back, throwing the head up to the ceiling, and then closing here like this. So I'm not collapsing, I'm keeping everything up, and I'm tucking the chin. Chin up to the sky on an inhale. Chin tucked down, keeping the torso long. Nice. Take a break. Have a drink of water, tea. We're going to come to standing. Let's just do that for a moment. Let's just do that for a moment. So hinging at the hips, sliding the hands down, and straightening the legs, not locking them back, but micro bend in the knees. We're just going to hinge at the hips there, wherever's comfortable. This is what's comfortable for me. It could be here for you. Like wherever you're feeling a nice stretch on the hamstrings, but not going so far that you're uncomfortable. And then just having a tilt in the pelvis, headlights up on the butt cheeks to help accentuate the stretch. And just breathing here for a moment. Pulling up the pelvic floor to help protect the knees. And keeping the chest I'm not collapsing, I'm keeping the chest up. And then coming up. And then we're going to do that again, sliding down, wherever's comfortable to you. It could be down here, it could be here, it could be here, wherever's your place where you're not in pain or discomfort. But there's a little bit of, maybe a little bit of discomfort's okay, but not like, no pinching. And now we're going to start rocking the pelvis. So from that position, we're going to tuck the tailbone in. And then opening the tailbone. Keeping a bend in the knees. Nice. Coming up. We're going to change the music. All right. Let's bring that into the rib cage. Let's just do some. We've done some stuff this way. Let's do some stuff this way. So let's keep the pelvis nice and level. Keep the shoulders nice and level, and we're gonna keep the pelvis planted in the spot that it is, and we're gonna let the rib cage travel left and right of the pelvis. So a little bit of tone in the abs. Let the head come along for the ride. Feet are active. Hips are strong. Let's grab the meat of your hips. So grab the meat, grab the bones, of your. Let's just open this up, a little bit more light in. So imagine the bones, you can grab them with the meat of your legs, of your hips. So grab hold of them, and then that will stabilize them. And then start to explore this left and right plane. Nice. Maintaining that grip, grabbing hold of those hips, those femurs. Nice. Now let's do a little circle. So we're moving the center of the rib cage over the center of the pelvis, like this. And the arms are just keeping out of the way of the rib cage, really, like allowing the arms to move so that the rib cage has got the most freedom. And reverse that. Nice. I'm warming up. All right. Let's have a look at the arms and the shoulders. Let's do 3 rotations in each direction. So go backwards, trying to keep the arm as close to the body as is comfortable. And then once you've done 3, come forward, keeping the rib cage more or less facing forward. And then other arm, noticing which side has greater freedom. My right has greater freedom. Then reverse that. Nice. So now we're going to connect. I'll keep reminding you of this, but we're going to connect the arms to the center of the back. The center of the lower back. So right here, which is basically the center of the body. The center of the body, the whole body's weight is right here. And so we'll just start off by bouncing. So just bounce your knees, allowing the arms to be relaxed. And then we're going to bring in some swings. So as the arms come down, the knees bend, and then the knees come back up again, and that creates the swing. And just work to relax the shoulders. Work to relax the shoulders. So the arms are not independently moving; they are moving because of the bounce in the pelvis. And work to relax. Work to relax. Right, you've seen the lower body, so. Alright, and now bringing that into a swing. This is coming from the feet, it's coming from the hips, it's coming from the ground. It's not, my upper body is not moving. I'm not doing that. It's a whole body movement. I wish you could see my whole body. Unfortunately, my setup is. Hopefully that gives you a better feel. So like my legs are driving the movement and I'm pushing into the floor. You see that? And the arms are just coming along for the ride. Nice. We're going to do arm ropes again. So whew, shake that out. Shake the legs. Shake the wrists. Shake the elbows. Shake the shoulders. Shake the pelvis. Shake the knees. Nice. All right. So arms. Imagine that there is ropes, and those ropes these are like long ropes, and they go all the way to the horizon, and they come down the back, and they attach to the lower back. So they come all the way up here and then out into the arms and turn into long ropes. And we're going to move those ropes with the center. We're going to move those ropes by rotating and playing with our center, and then it ripples out into the arms. The arms are never like doing their own thing. They're always grounded in here through feeling. So create that imagery for yourself. Create that connection between the center, and specifically the lower back and the shoulders, and then out into the arms. I mean, there is a connection there, but in most people it has been disconnected. And so we're just going to play, just intuitively play. So allowing the center to create the ripple effect that moves the arms. tension here, attention in the lower back and the belly. And that whole chamber between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor, this whole area. And just doing intuitive movements, whatever feels good to you. Letting the arms be long, so they be heavy. So when you create that image of long arms that go all the way to the horizon like ropes, they're heavier. So it's almost like you're moving through clay or thick honey or just thick air. There's like a heaviness in the air. Keep going. And smile. Nice. Cool. All right, drop that. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Do some rotational embraces. Nice. Okay. Let's have a little play with something. This is something I like to bring in to get you to see what creates your movement, what creates your impulse to action. If we can get to the source of the impulse to action, we can start to be able to change habits at their root. So let's just see what we've got. Let's see what we've got. We worked on the hips a lot today, so we have a lot of awareness of the hips. So let's play around with a little bit of balance, but a balance with a twist. So let's just shift our weight onto our left leg. And let's lift our right leg. Okay, whatever's comfortable. And just do what you need to do. Grab the meat of the hip and let that hip feel stable. And then just drop that down again. And then shifting the right over to the weight over to the right. And when you feel like you're over the foot, lift that left leg. And move it around a little bit. Okay. Now pay attention to your whole body. And before you lift your leg up, so think about shifting your weight, and just before you lift your leg up, pay attention to your whole body and see if you can locate where the impulse in the body to lift the other leg is. Can you find the driver that drives that movement? Try it again. Lifting the leg. Where in your experience, pay attention to all of your perception and your feeling in your body, including everything, including the space around the body, your head, your arms, everything. Can you notice, and just keep doing that, shifting the weight, lifting the leg, and just including everything in your experience. What is motivating the movement of lifting the leg? What impulse is driving the action? Can you locate it? It's quite a complex one, lifting the leg. It might be a little bit tricky to find, or maybe not. Can you notice some impulse in the body that happens maybe a millisecond or at the same time, millisecond before or at the same time as the actual movement? What's choosing to move? Who's choosing to move? Can you find that? Can you locate it? Who's choosing to lift the leg? Can you find that one? Might seem like a strange investigation, but unless we can locate that one that is moving the body, how do we create change? How do we change a habit? It's always best to work at the source, and the source is you. So who is the one that creates the impulse to take action? A question I'm going to leave you with as we do some standing to finish. So just feeling the feet, doing some toe curls on the ground. Just grab the ground and let it go. Grab it and let it go. Grab it and let it go. Feel how you can pull the pelvis forward by grabbing the ground and letting it go. Nice. Keep doing that. And we're just going to feel the weight evenly over the feet. 50-50 on each foot. A little bit heavier on the heels, maybe 60% on the heels and 40% on the balls of the feet. Soft bend in the knees. Pelvis floating. Finding its sweet spot where it's not locked in, but relating to the feet. Tuck the tailbone a tiny bit to just flatten the lower back. Just a little bit, just to get the sense that there's that downward heavy pressure into the feet. Bringing the attention up into the rib cage. Just ever so slightly tilting the sternum so that the shoulder blades melt down the spine. Tension in the shoulders. Inhale, bringing the arms up. Fingers are active. Shoulder blades melting. Imagine two flowers blossoming in the shoulders at the front, just to open up any tension. Bringing the attention up into the head and the neck. Allowing the head to be pulled. Imagine two silk strings coming out the backs of the soft little bit underneath the ear where the skull meets the neck. Just two little silk strings pulling straight up And then another one coming off from the crown, just gently tugging the head. So you'll notice, I could tell you to tuck your chin, but then you might create tension. But if you just have this sort of imagery of the silk strings, it'll give that sort of slightly tucked chin without creating tension. My hands are in front, ever so slightly, and around about shoulder height with slightly bent elbows. Let's just do some pelvic floor lifting. So let's lift the pelvic floor as we inhale into the belly. So pulling up the floor and then inhaling to kind of like create some pressure in the abdominal area to help direct the breath into the front, into the genitals and into the lower belly. And then exhale and then release that. And then inhale. Just ever so slightly pulling up, like stopping the flow of urine, pulling up the anus, and then just breathing down into that space. Not forcing anything. And then let that go on the exhale. Inhale. Just gently pulling everything up, just push that energy down into this lower region where some people struggle to breathe. I know I certainly have a habit of breathing in my upper chest, so let's create a little bit of tone down there, a little bit of awareness, maybe a new breathing pattern. If it's available to you, maybe sink down a little bit, bend the knees a little bit. Just maintain full pressure on the feet. Like imagine your footprint and just keep that footprint. Arch is pulling up. And you'll notice the arch is actually connected to the diaphragm. The pelvic floor and the diaphragm, but pelvic floor more directly. So as you pull up the pelvic floor, send the same message to your arches of your feet. Pull them up as well. And as you let the pelvic floor go, just relax that a little bit, but still maintain pressure on the 3 points of contact on the ground with your feet. Just do that breath for a little while. Relax the jaw, relax the forehead, the eyebrows. If you need to reset your arms, give them a shake and just come back. Keep those fingers active, slightly open hand like that. I'm not collapsing and I'm not like rigid, it's just like okay. Lowering the arms. Inhale. Exhale to bring the feeling through the body, through the central axis into the floor. Inhale. Feel the top of the head, inside the chest, inside the pelvis, the knees, the ankles, into the floor. Last one. Feel the sensation coming down through the head, through the central axis, into the rib cage, into the pelvis. down through the legs into the feet and down underneath the ground. Just for a moment, feel the space, a meter or two under the ground, about the size of a basketball. See if you can feel what that feels like. Thank you. Thank you for moving with me today. And if you would like to join me for more of these online classes live, I'm doing 3 a week at the moment. And I'm going to add some more in the afternoon, evening as my schedule changes. Either move them or add more so that maybe people in the States can join me live. If you want to find out more information, just visit gusreid.com, REID. There should be a link in the description, and I would love to see you. I'd love to move with you. I look forward to hanging out. Wishing you a beautiful day.